Hello everyone. As usual, you can take a seat. I don't need you to be standing for me. As usual for our ceremonies, I'm going to do the very exciting technical announcements. We are going to be together for about 2 hours here in the theater, and then we will move to Werbesdijk. I kindly ask you to put your phones away. You will be live streamed. Sometimes you will be filmed. As you know, there are still some prizes to be awarded this afternoon. The process will be that if you are awarded a prize, you will be asked to stand up and wave. We will clap for you all. You will be asked to join us between the two auditoriums if you win a prize, to get a photo with your Director of Studies and receive your prize and your certificate if you are an awarded student. I think that's all for communication. Of course, we encourage you to spread the word about the ceremony and communicate it about online after, not during, and to enjoy the next few hours. So without further ado, I will leave the stage and invite President Van Rompuy to say the first few words. Thank you.
Your Majesty, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Governor, Madam Rector, Your Excellencies, Professors, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. Your Majesty, 510 years ago, your ancestor, Emperor Charles, made his first visit to Bruges. He would return several times later. He was born in Ghent, 50 kilometers from here, and abdicated in Brussels. The emperor's grandmother is buried in Bruges. Could there be a stronger bond between what would later become Belgium and this legendary monarch? Closer to home, January the 1st, 2026, will mark Spain's 40th anniversary of membership of the European Union. This firmly anchored the young democracy in your country. The world of the 16th century and that of the second half of the 20th century are completely different, of course, but mainly in one essential respect. At that time, a generation of peace was born. My generation and its successors to this day have never known war. The Low Countries knew the so-called 80 Years' War centuries ago. Now we have been at peace with each other for 80 years. We must remember this even more today, amid the return of tragedy in history, amid the violence of war on the European continent, though not in the European Union, and in the Near East. European citizens recognize this, and that's why support for the Union is at its highest since 2007, the beginning of the financial crisis and the start of the so-called permanent crisis, because it has not stopped since then. And young people, in particular, have confidence in the Union much more so than in their own national governments. Opponents of the European idea are making a lot of noise on social media, but the silent majority thinks quite differently. For a few years now, and especially in the last few months, there has been a shift in the political agenda, away from the economy and climate towards security and defense. And many people in Europe are afraid. They were already uncertain due to the succession of crises since 2007. Responsible leaders do not add fear and instability to the existing instability. Responsible and empathetic leadership must bring people together and protect them. And at the same time, we must support peoples who are fighting for their independence and their territory. The struggle of the Ukrainians is existential for us and for them. And in Eastern Europe, in particular, many fear that they could fall victim to invasion and to nostalgic and expansionist nationalism. Your Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, there can be no lasting peace in the Near East if the Near East remains in flames. Because, as the name suggests, it is near to us. Our motto, every human being counts, is being disregarded there every day. It is the return of the inhuman. In the midst of the storm, we must continue to focus on the long term. I'm thinking first and foremost of the climate. Temperatures are rising most rapidly in Europe compared to other continents. And climate is also a matter of life and death. It is also an existential challenge. It is in times like these that we must return to the heart of the matter. Why are we conscious Europeans? What does a union of values mean? How are we different from others? Who are our true friends with whom we can share values and interests? Friendship means wanting the same thing and not wanting the same things. Back to basics in the storm that is sweeping across the world. Dear students, the College of Europe is an institution that attaches great importance to tolerance, respect, openness towards others, compassion and empathy, academic freedom and freedom of expression. This is also true for the vast majority of European universities. If one of them is affected, we will show solidarity. This should be the case throughout the West and beyond the West. Unfortunately, this is no longer the case everywhere. Our union must chart its own course and take much more control of its own destiny. We are not turning in on ourselves. We are firm in defending our principles, but always ready to dialogue. Firmness and dialogue. The College of Europe is a school with a mission, a vocation, the same as that of its founders 75 years ago. Dear students, you have been able to experience this together for a year. You are much more than just fellow students to each other. You have become companions on what will hopefully be the most beautiful journey of your lives on a personal basis. Take that with you wherever life takes you. All the best. Congratulations.
Your Majesty, what a time for celebration you're joining today. And dear students, what an honor to celebrate the special day for you and for all of us with such a special guest. We are truly honored, pleased to have you here with us and looking forward to hearing your address to the students. This is indeed time to celebrate for all of us as a college community, for each of you individually, as you conclude this journey that you started last end of August, September, depending on when you joined campus. For us as a college community, it's a celebration of the 75th anniversary of the start of the college, when our visionary, wise, funding fathers at the time, only fathers, but still there were women probably behind the scenes somewhere. If not, we're bringing them in, we're sure. Had this intuition of creating a college, an academic institution, to bring together postgraduate students, university students from countries that were at war in the months and years just before, making them live together here. At the time, it seemed really an impossible dream. The European Union was not even on the dreams or the papers of anyone. Of course, there were other visionaries, but this was somehow the start of everything. We celebrate 75 years. We celebrate the first year in Tirana with our new campus, and I'm glad that we have here our students from Tirana and our staff from Tirana and our professors here joining this closing ceremony. And also, it's a year for celebration because together with us we have not only the diplomats of the European Diplomatic Academy that have been now with us for 3 years, but also for the very first time the diplomats of the enlargement countries with the European Union, with the European Diplomatic Program for the enlargement region. So the family grows and we have more and more to celebrate. It is, first of all, a celebration for each and every one of you. 338 students, if I'm not wrong, plus 32 in Tirana. More than 60 nationalities, if I'm not wrong again, 54 Spanish. That must feel particularly honored today. So for sure, this is a day for celebration. You've studied together, you've partied together, Mr. Mayor, without major problems. You've lived together, you've started to shape the present and the future of the European Union together. You've met with commissioners, ministers, ambassadors, all kinds of interlocutors, bringing your ideas, your proposals, presenting your papers, your challenges also to the institutions, the critical approach that we hope we help you develop in order to contribute to the European integration project. And you've developed the knowledge, the skills, the network. I would say, I think you leave the college empowered to go out there and indeed contribute to the European integration project as it is written in our statutes. That's the mission of the college. So it's time to celebrate, for sure. And we will. Big party tonight. But I think none of us would feel complete if we wouldn't think or mention the fact that out there in the world, there's not much to celebrate. It is probably the most difficult, the saddest times, for sure, that your generation has seen, and probably that my generation has seen. So it might feel that what you studied, that what you prepared for, is a bit unreal or even surreal. International cooperation, peace, rule of law, international law, human rights. The concept that cooperation and building alliances and bridges is stronger than confrontation and competition. That's the idea behind the European Union. You might feel, as you complete this journey and you start or continue your professional journey, you might feel that there is a disconnect between the mission you bring inside you, the passion, the optimism, and the reality you see around you. And this sense of surrealism, apart from being truly Belgian, is, I believe, also a sign of wisdom and of maturity. You might feel that you're going against the wind, that we are going against the wind. And you might feel today this dichotomy, this contradiction between being empowered and potentially the frustration. I wouldn't say the desperation, because I think we have hope, but at least the frustration of seeing your means and the reality out there that is, wow. This is part of life, for sure. I think this is part of the European Union life. European Union has always had big moments of achievements, but also moments of disillusion and frustrations. And sometimes in your professional, personal life, it will happen that you achieve exactly what you want, or what you hope, what you believe is right. But also there are some times where you're not able to have that impact that you hope to have. You don't manage to find a solution to a situation, to a crisis, prevent a war, or introduce a better legislation on something. You will have elements, moments of frustration. My message today would be, having known myself a few elements of that in my previous jobs, not many, not as many as I would today probably. My message would be not to let difficulties of the moment ever prevent you from using the power you have developed. First of all, because at times, change really happens even if it's against all odds. One of my favorite quotes that I probably mentioned when we inaugurated the Tirana campus with President von der Leyen is from Nelson Mandela that said that anything seems impossible until it's done. And I think that this is something that we can carry with us in these moments where the mountain might seem too high. And yet, change sometimes does happen. If you believe in that, if you have the competence, the knowledge, the skills, the energy to bring it forward. But also, and I'll conclude with that, using a quote from someone I think I've never quoted before, but it's one of our founding fathers of the College of Europe. One of those that 75 years ago had this intuition of bringing you together. And that's Winston Churchill. That said, kites rise the highest against the wind. Now, it's also nice to have the wind a little bit in your back from time to time, but every time that you feel you're going against the wind, every time that you feel that thinking about the rule of law or international law is out of touch with the reality out there, it's not mainstream, think of that. that this might be an occasion to rise even higher and to build something even bigger. Vous avez tous les instruments pour le faire, to raise your kites high, même si le vent est contraire. Vous avez la passion, la compétence, le réseau, les idéaux pour le faire. So as you graduate today, I think that bringing this kites with you, and every time that the wind blows contrary, feel that this might be an occasion to rise even higher, can be a good way to keep the hope and build the new capacities, the new capabilities, the new instruments for the European Union to be able to respond to the crisis of today. I'm not optimistic about the state of the world, but I'm very optimistic about the state of our union. And I think this is really the hope that we all contribute to build. So use the power of your knowledge every single day of your life. Celebrate tonight, but then, as of the Monday next week, at work, to build a better Europe, a better world, because you really have all the potential to do it. I thank you for having spent with us a wonderful, wonderful year. And I would now invite, it is really my pleasure, the mayor of the city that has hosted us as a college for 75 years, and you only for 10 months, but now you are citizens of Bruges forever. So, Mr. Mayor, please, the floor is yours.
His Majesty King Philip VI and Her Majesty Queen Letizia of Spain, respected attendees, Mr. Governor, Mr. President, dear students and dear diplomats, it is a great honor and a pleasure to address you today at the annual closing ceremony of the College of Europe here in our beloved city of Bruges. Bruges is very proud to be the home to this unique institution. For decades now, since 1949, the College of Europe has brought together bright minds from across Europe and beyond. Individuals driven by curiosity, conviction, and the will to build a better future. The presence of the college enriches our city, not only intellectually, but also socially and culturally. This year, you graduate as the Jacques Delors Promotion, bearing the name of a man whose vision helped shape modern Europe. As President of the European Commission, Jacques Delors was instrumental in deepening integration and placing solidarity at the heart of the European project. He understood that the European Union was not only an economic construction, but a community built on peace, cooperation, and shared values. These values of solidarity, openness, and community are also at the heart of Bruges. Bruges is a city that strives to be a true home for all, warm, welcoming, and inclusive. A place where people from all backgrounds can feel safe and valued. Bruges has always been a crossroads of culture and ideas, and we are proud to continue that tradition, be embracing both our history and our future as a hospitality European city. Your Majesty, we are truly honored by your presence here in Bruges. It is a privilege to welcome you to our city and to remember of the strong historical and cultural ties that unite Belgium and Spain, and also of the shared European ideals we hold dear. Bruges was one of the most important trading cities in Europe from the 13th to the 15th century, and served as a meeting center for merchants from all over the country, including Castilla. Castilian merchants had their own trading nation in Bruges. There was a Castilian house in the city, and even today there is still a Spanish quay. Spanish wool, wine, salt, and oil were brought to Bruges. Even in more recent times, the bond between Belgium and Spain has remained strong. Our Queen, Fabiola, was of Spanish origin, and King Baudouin passed away at his holiday residence in Motril in Spain. We can even say today that Spain feels like a part of Belgium for many Belgians. Nearly 100,000 Belgians own a second residence in Spain. And every year, hundreds of thousands travel there to enjoy the Spanish sun. But today, you brought the Spanish sun to Bruges. Dear students, dear graduates, dear diplomats, you graduate at a time when the world is facing turbulent and uncertain days. From armed conflicts in Gaza, Israel, Ukraine, Congo, and other humanitarian crises, to the urgent challenges of climate change, migration, inequality, and democratic backsliding, the values of peace, solidarity, and unity are being tested. It is my sincere hope that in your careers and in your lives, you will carry forward the spirit of dialogue and cooperation that you cultivate here in Bruges, that you will help resolve conflicts, build understanding, and seek solutions to the pressing issues confronting Europe and the world today. I would also like to express my appreciation for the way many of you have engaged with our local community, not only in the bars, but it brings me a great joy to see students of the college not only immersed in academic life, but also taking action for the common good. Last year, Bruges had the honor of hosting the Warmste Week for the second time. The Warmste Week, or the Warmest Week, is a national solidarity campaign in Belgium where people organize events and actions to raise money for a charitable team, often focused on social inclusion and well-being. In support of this initiative, many of you organized creative activities to raise funds for charity. I also applaud the students who took part in November growing moustaches to raise awareness for men's mental health. These are small acts with great meaning, and they reflect the best of what this college and this generation has to offer. You have helped make Bruges a warmer, more open, and more compassionate city. For that, I thank you very much. As you know, take the next step in your journey. Know that you will always carry a piece of Bruges with you, just as Bruges will carry on the memory of your contribution to this special year. On behalf of the city and all its citizens, I wish you success, wisdom, and courage in everything you do. May you serve as bridges in a divided world, just as Jacques Delors once did. Thank you very much.
Your Majesties, Mr. Herman van Rompuy, President of the Administrative Council, Rector MOGHERINI, Mr. Dirk de FAUW, Mayor of the City of Bruges, dear attendees, dear guests, and of course, dear students, or rather, recent graduates. Maybe for your information, Majesty, at the moment in Madrid, it's 35 degrees. And in Bruges, it's 28 degrees. That means 7 degrees to go, Mayor. That's, okay. It is with great honor and sincere gratitude that I have the honor to speak to you today during the closing ceremony of the Jacques Delors PhD at the College of Europe. My thanks go to Rector Mogherini for the invitation and to the College itself, which for decades has been a beacon of European excellence here in the center of West Flanders. Europe is not a distant thing for West Flanders. It's really those make a difference. In our province, in West Flanders, Europe is payable. Thanks to the European support through the FAUW, the Interreg, the agriculture policy and other programs, we have managed to invest in innovation, climate measures, mobility, social projects and entrepreneurship. Whether it's a circular business park, cross-border cycling paths, digital inclusion or support for startups, European cooperation translated into concrete progress here. And that should be said more often. And you graduates are living proof of that European strength. Dear graduates, you have just reached an important milestone. Studying at the College of Europe is no trivial matter. It's demanding, formative, transformative. You will emerge not only with solid knowledge, but also with an ability to engage in dialogue, to understand, to cooperate in a profoundly European environment. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is an asset for life. We live in turbulent geopolitical times, and that is precisely we need Europe more than ever. The world is changing at a lightning speed. Tensions on our continent's borders, the pressures on the rule of law, the growth of extremism and disinformation, it forces us to remain steadfast in our values. Especially now we must build a Europe that works together, that protects and connects. Not the divided continent, but a resolute union. Let us Jacques Delors' vision as a compass. He believed in Europe should be more than a market. For him, it was a community of values, of solidarity, of human dignity, and of shared responsibility. And under his leadership, the Erasmus program was born. The single market took shape, the euro was prepared. He have Europe direction and, of course, a soul. And now it's up to you to continue that story. You, dear graduates, are ready to take on that role. You've studied not just European law or economics or diplomacy, you lived the European experience. You've worked across cultures, you've challenged your ideas, you've learned to listen and to lead. Those skills are exactly what our continent needs right now. Stay true to the spirit of cooperation you have come to know her. Dear graduates, as you leave Bruges to begin a new phase, take this European energy with you. Continue to believe in a stronger Europe, a fairer Europe, and a more united Europe. Be the relays of the project that is worthwhile. Dare to stand up for what you believe in. West Flanders is proud of you, and Europe is counting on you. I should say congratulations on behalf of our province. Let your work be meaningful. Keep building a Europe that offers the opportunities to people, cities and regions. And remember with pride this special place where your journey began. Thank you, and everybody have a successful career. Thank you.
Your Majesty, dear President, dear Rector, dear students, honorable guests, esteemed colleagues. Greetings from Natolin. Dear students, I extend to you all my heartfelt congratulations as you celebrate this significant milestone. Even through this recorded message, Please accept my sincere compliments for you on this achievement. I know your studies have been so demanding, but I hope worth doing. I do believe that you are now equipped with the knowledge and skills required for your future successful professional life. College of Europe is not only an academic establishment, but it is also a community that will keep you all connected long after you leave these walls. However, please remember that it is not only a network of contacts, but a shared understanding of values that shape our Europe and its future. Finally, I want to leave you with one thought. Education cannot be reduced to a utilitarian purpose of professional career. It should offer people the ability to pursue their lives harmoniously with others through self-knowledge, a sense of responsibility, and critical thinking. College gave you these skills, and now it's up to you to use them wisely. Dear students, your graduation is a culmination of this process, and you start another chapter of your life. May it be successful. On behalf of the entire Natolin community, I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Your Majesties, dear Rector, Mayor of Bruges, academic and administrative staff, fellow DeLoreans, distinguished guests, and our loved ones. It is an honour to speak to you today in celebration of all that we have achieved in this wonderful Jacques Delors Promotion at the College of Europe. This moment marks the culmination of a year that none of us will ever forget. Now that we are at the end of this academic journey, I am reminded of the reasons I applied to study here at the college. At the time, I wanted to better understand the European Union and its impact on the continent. I wanted to be in a place where Europe meant more than free roaming and cheap rail tickets. I didn't fully know what I was getting myself into, and I certainly didn't realise how many acronyms I'd have to memorise, but I knew I wanted to be part of this unique community. And now, looking around this room, I know I wasn't the only one. At the beginning of the academic year, we arrived in Bruges with excitement and nerves and a dangerous overconfidence in our ability to navigate the cobblestone streets of Bruges. What we found was far more than a study programme. We found a community that could debate tariffs at breakfast, common security and defence policy at lunch, and the multi-annual financial framework at dinner. Outside the college, this might sound like a nightmare, but here in the Bruges bubble, it was just another Tuesday. We had an inter-campus exchange with both Nathalin and Tirana, which reminded us that while we may study in different cities, we shared the same passion for Europe. In addition to the annual visit to Nathalin, for the first time, our exchange included a trip to Tirana, a special moment in the college's history. And of course, who can forget the renowned Christmas tree heist? Waking up in the middle of the night, establishing residence defence forces, and finding lost sea cards. I think it is safe to say that perhaps some of us could have a career in undercover operations if one of the European institutions doesn't work out. And speaking of inter-residence competitions, the boat race. It brought us all together in cheering on our sailors to reach the finish line. After a competitive race, St. Jure's were the deserving winners. We travelled to the ECB in Frankfurt, the UN in Geneva, the Court of Justice in Luxembourg, the European Parliament in Strasbourg, and NATO in Brussels. Each visit reminded us that the institutions we study are driven by real people, real decisions, and real consequences, and that one day those seats and decisions will be taken by us. We ate Ibero-American tacos, biscuits from Italy, and falafel from Mena. We partied like Nordic Baltic Vikings in January and enjoyed a traditional Irish sing-song for St. Patrick's Day. Barco never disappointed. From Greek toga parties to celebrating Marie Curie with the French and Polish, we didn't just study Europe, we lived it. I think it is fair to say that all of us cherish this wonderful European project, the greatest peace initiative of the 20th century. The future of the project depends not just on its institutions and treaties, but on people like us. People who understand its complexity, who believe in its potential, and who are willing to defend it when tested. That responsibility now rests with us, the Jacques Delors Promotion, a man who stood for vision, unity, and bold action. And if we've learned anything this year, it's that Europe does not move forward by itself. It needs conviction, dialogue, and most importantly, compromise. So the question now is not whether we're ready to take part, but whether we're ready to take responsibility. I believe we are. I want to finish by recognising you, my fellow students. You have made this year what it is, and I'm honoured to call each and every one of you a friend. Thank you very much, and now I will pass the mic to my friend, Angelina. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Il y a un an et demi, lorsque j'ai postulé au Collège d'Europe, quelqu'un me l'avait décrit comme une colonie de vacances pour adultes qui dure un an. Cette personne n'avait pas tort, mais le collège est bien plus que cela. Les étudiants en droit se souviendront toujours de ces cours qui finissent à 10 heures du soir. En IRD, nous nous souviendrons toujours de notre simulation game. Bien sûr, les étudiants en pôle s'empresseront de nous rappeler que ce n'était rien comparé à la voie qu'ils ont dû survivre. Et les étudiants en éco continueront à parler d'économétrie avancée. Et enfin, les étudiants en maths continueront à essayer de nous convaincre qu'ils ont aussi travaillé cette année. Comme nous le disons souvent, ici, nous étudions ensemble, nous vivions ensemble, nous mangeons ensemble. En fait, il n'y a pas grand-chose que nous ne faisions pas ensemble. Entre les nuits passées à réviser, les débats passionnés, les repas sans fin à la cantine et quelques verres de trop au barco. Cette intensité peut parfois sembler épuisante, mais je ne le changerai pour rien au monde. On our very first day, we were told that in some years we might go to the wedding of the person randomly sitting next to us. I remember the person that sat next to me that day, and I can certainly say that the friendships we have built here will last a lifetime. Today is a day to look back, to remember the times we laughed, the nights we danced and sang until our voices gave out, but also the moments we lifted each other up, when things were difficult and we needed someone to lean on. Today is about community. Today is about family. And of course, the college is not just about the students. It is also about the people who sustain it every day and throughout promotions. Please bear with me because this is going to be a very long list of thank yous. First of all, I would like to thank our rector, Federica Mogherini. I think I speak on behalf of all of us when I say you have set an example of what true leadership looks like. Thoughtful, principled, and always grounded in humanity. To the SAO Library and Careers Office for always being there for us, offering us guidance, supporting us through mock interviews and exams, and even reminding us to breathe with yoga sessions. To every other member of the administration for working tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure the college runs smoothly. To the academic departments and visiting professors for challenging our thinking and helping us turn curiosity into expertise. And to academic assistants for always answering our questions and trying to solve our problems. To the canteen staff, we want to say thank you and we are sorry for always complaining and never leaving the canteen on time. To the ward... I said this was going to be a long list. To the wardens and resident staff for making sure we had everything we needed to feel at home, even though as adults we probably should be able to clean our own bathroom and prepare our own breakfast. To our night watch guards, Guido, Andy, and Frederic, for helping us with literally everything we needed, especially when we lost our keys. And finally, to the college alumni, for paving the way before us and for welcoming us into this community of graduates spread all around the world. Thank you all for everything you have done to make this year possible. And what now? That is the real question as we all rush into the next job application or traineeship. Our year here is coming to an end, but I hope that each of us carries forward the passion, the lessons, and the friendships we have formed. It has been said today a lot. We are entering a world marked by overlapping crises, from the rise of violent conflict and the authoritarian regimes, to the accelerating climate change, to the persistent injustice faced by migrants, refugees, women, and marginalized communities around the world. These challenges can feel overwhelming, even paralyzing. But if this year at the college has taught us anything, it is that we are not powerless. We are equipped with the knowledge, empathy, and most importantly, each other. We are grounded in the conviction that a better world is not only possible, but necessary. I have been so inspired by the young people in this room today. We might not be passionate about the same topics or always agree, but we all deeply care. We care about the Europe that we want to see in the world, and we care about shaping it. Europe can do more. Europe should do more. In fact, Europe must do more. Selon Jacques Delors, le modèle européen est en danger si nous oblitérons le principe de la responsabilité personnelle. Victoria Amelina, journaliste et écrivaine ukrainienne décédée lors d'une attaque russe, a été choisie comme marraine de la promotion 2025-2026. Elle incarne, par son engagement, les valeurs de l'Europe imaginées par Jacques Delors et la force de ceux qui défendent leurs principes jusqu'au bout. It is now our task to turn what we have learned here into action, to speak up when it's uncomfortable, to advocate for justice when it is unpopular, and to lead with both care and courage. Our time here may be over, but our responsibility has only just begun. Thank you all for the moments we have shared together. I cannot wait to see the heights we will all reach. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank you, Angelina. Your Majesties, dear Mayor, dear Madam Rector, members of the administrative and academic team, distinguished guests, families, fellow DeLoreans, and friends. It's an immense honor to stand here today representing the first cohort of the College of Europe in Tirana and speaking on behalf of 32 of us, many of which you can see around this room. We all came here to celebrate. First of all, congratulations. Congratulations to all of us on the transformative journey we've gone through over the past academic year. Today, this gathering is more than a closing ceremony. It is a celebration of our ambition, resilience, dedication, but also a celebration of friendship, community, and a shared passion for Europe, burning from Bruges to Nathalin and now Tirana. Over 3 decades ago, it was exactly here in Bruges that our patron de promotion and architect of the European Union, Jacques Delors, marked the 40th anniversary of the College of Europe. On that special evening, he addressed the students of the Bruges campus, just like you now, with the definition. L'Europe est une aventure collective que chaque génération doit prendre en charge pour assurer l'unité et la paix. Delors understood that peace was always at the heart of the European project, and he believed that constructing Europe is a collective adventure, and the whole continent should be part of it. As Commission President, he was the first to understand that we should not only enlarge the community, but unite Europe. And then, once the Iron Curtain collapsed, it was him who cut the ribbon of the Nathalin campus in Poland, welcoming the first cohort of students to Nathalin and opening the European path for Central and Eastern Europe. Similarly, this academic year, President von der Leyen did the same thing for our new campus in Tirana. And on that day, she described this period after the speech of Delors in 1989 as the moment when European history was on the move, when the unification of our continent felt like an unstoppable force of history, something that her generation called the wind of change. Today, standing on the stage and speaking to you as one of the students of the first year of the College of Europe in Tirana, I feel the same wind of change all around this room. And for this, thank you. Thank you all for giving the region of South and Southeastern Europe a voice. And thank you, Madam Rector, for giving Tirana a chance, for giving us a chance, and for believing in the European project so much. Thank you to the whole administration and academic team of the Bruges campus for supporting us and our team in Tirana this year. We know how much work has gone into this project, and we are deeply, deeply grateful for it. At the beginning of this year, we took it upon ourselves to follow the vision of Jacques Delors, and we felt the weight of the responsibility to give our campus a soul, As only 32 students, this was no easy task. But we did it. We started new traditions, formed first societies, and did our best to embody the values of the college. And we're so proud that we made it. However, we could have not done it without all of you in this room. From the first encouraging speeches from student representatives and your kind messages on our intercampus group chats, you constantly reminded us that we're not alone and that together we can embrace this challenge fully. In February, when we arrived in Bruges for the intercampus exchange, you gave us the best welcome we could have imagined. From organizing boat tours on these breathtaking canals, offering advice on organizing our first national days, to your recommendations for where to get the best waffles. You made us experience firsthand what l'esprit du collège means. We laughed together, learned from each other, and formed friendships that will last a lifetime. In April, we were excited to return your kindness and welcome you to our little campus in Tirana, sharing our city's colorful streets, the warmth of Balkan hospitality, and welcome you to the region. For a few unforgettable days, the youngest sibling of the College of Europe hosted its elder. And after this experience, it was clear to us that while our college may have 3 campuses, we're one community with one soul and one heart. Together, we proved that this heart beats with the same values and the same passion for Europe in Albania as it does here in Belgium or in Poland. And for this, yet again, we're very grateful. Dear DeLoreans, as we prepare to leave this hall and step into the next chapter of our lives, we leave with a responsibility. A responsibility to carry forward the spirit of our promotion and continue the legacy of Jacques Delors, working towards a united, strong, and peaceful Europe that he described that night in Bruges over 30 years ago. After all, the European spring is still ahead of us, and we will together make sure it blossoms. Thank you.
Su Majestad.
Dear Madam Rector Mogherini, dear professors and friends from Bruges, this is it, we arrive at farewell. We record this video with bittersweet feelings, remembering the one we did just some months ago to welcome you into the college. The never-ending exam session made us forget how lucky we were to have lived for such a year together.
In February, you welcomed us to your city and campus, making us discover the joys of your student bar Barco and the lovely canteen food. In April, we returned the favor by opening our park to many of you, sharing a moment of calm and music amidst all of the deadlines and the master thesis.
But more than just studying policy papers or submitting assignments, this year has nourished our perspectives and created friendships and connections for life. Across differences of language, culture, traditions, and opinions, we have sought to better understand each other. And it is the mark of the college's mission since its foundation to live Europe. And that's what we have been doing, both in Bruges and in Nathalie.
Now, as we depart our separate ways, it is difficult not to find it to be a certain farewell. But this is far from the end of our relationship to the college. The College of Europe has provided us with more than just mere education. Rather, it has given us a network. It has created new friendships. It crafted a shared story which will live with us forever.
Thus, as we pack our bags and prepare for whatever else may come, be it moving to Brussels, to our national capitals, or to somewhere else altogether, let's hold on to the laughter, to the late-night conversations, to the parties, the group chats, and the quiet moments of reflection. Let's stay in touch, stay curious, and stay kind, because this year has proven we are stronger together, even as we are about to dispatch across the continent and beyond.
Whilst we may have not spent 10 months living together, we remain one. One college, one promotion, 1 year. It was a pleasure to have met you, and we Netherlandians, we will always be thrilled to cross your path again in the future.
Your Majesties, President of the Administrative Council, Madame Rector, academic and administrative staff, distinguished guests, fellow students, family and friends, good afternoon. This moment is deeply meaningful, not only for each of us gathered here today, but for what we represent together. We are celebrating more than the conclusion of an intense academic year. We are celebrating the act of coming together across borders, disciplines, and languages to prepare ourselves to serve something greater than just ourselves. As a Spanish student, it is a particular honor to stand before you here today. But I do so not only as a Spaniard, but I speak as one of the many young Europeans who believe in this project. A project we have studied in classrooms, argued over in corridors, and occasionally questioned in the canteen, and yet one that we are ready to carry forward with all its complexity, contradictions, and promise. It is therefore with deep pride that I introduce someone whose life and role embody the very values that we have examined, debated, and defended throughout this transformative year. His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain. His Majesty was born in Madrid in 1968, in a Spain soon ready to turn a decisive page in its history, a country emerging from a dictatorship, heading toward democracy and preparing to reconnect with the rest of Europe. From an early age, His Majesty's education reflected both a deep sense of national service, but also a broad international perspective. He underwent military training in the Army, Navy, and Air Force, and today holds the rank of Captain General of the Spanish Armed Forces. He also earned a law degree from the Universidad Autónoma de Madrid, and also complemented his studies with economics, and then later went to complete a Master in International Relations at the Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. And yet, perhaps most impressive for this audience, His Majesty completed also a traineeship at the European Commission. And this, we know, it is quite an achievement because some of us didn't even make it through pre-selection. Because apparently future King of Spain looks very good in the CV, better than motivated recent graduate with strong interest in EU affairs. Since his proclamation as head of state in 2014, he has carried out his role with dignity, prudence, and a deep commitment to democratic values. He has represented Spain across the world, promoted its language and culture, and consistently reaffirmed its place and its loyalty to the European project. It is therefore a true honor to welcome His Majesty here today, especially also in a year that has a deep meaning for both Spain and for Europe. Indeed, this year marks several historical milestones. We celebrate the 75th anniversary since the Schuman Declaration, and also of this very college. Additionally, this year also marks the 40th anniversary of Spain's and Portugal's signature to the Treaty of Accession to the European Communities. This was, as His Majesty reminded in a recent speech, a moment of hope and transformation, and not just for Spain, but also for a whole generation. And like Spain itself, the King stood at the beginning of something new. That journey from transition to integration is one His Majesty has lived personally and has helped guide nationally. Fellow students, we too are part of this story. We are the Jacques Delors Promotion, a name that calls not for comfort, but for courage and also for commitment. Over the past year, we have studied enlargement, climate policy, competition law, digital regulation, but more importantly, we have asked ourselves what kind of Europe we want to live in, what kind of Europe we want to shape. Now, we leave this campus not only with more knowledge, hopefully, but also with a big sense of responsibility. Because we are undeniably among the privileged few, And that privilege demands more than recognition. It demands action. We must work so that the rights, freedoms, and opportunities that we live here are not the exception, but the norm for everyone. From the invasion of Ukraine to the genocide in Gaza, the world reminds us we cannot afford silence. Europe cannot afford silence. If we believe in this project, and I believe we do, then we must make it real, not only for ourselves, but for all of those that still are waiting on its promise. Your Majesty, your presence here today, together with Her Majesty Queen Letizia, honors us deeply. Your life's journey, rooted in Spain, shaped by Europe, and open to the world, is an example of principled leadership at a time where it's more than necessary. On behalf of the Jacques Delors Promotion, a generation that still believes in Europe as a force for peace, justice, and unity, it is my great honor to invite His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain to take the floor. Muchas gracias, thank you, and merci.
Tall, but not that tall. Thank you, Marta, for that really kind introduction. Allow me to greet our hosts and authorities, Governor of the Province of West Flanders, Mayor of the City of Bruges, Madam Rector of the College of Europe, President of the Administrative Council, dear students, members of the faculty, prize sponsors, dear guests, greetings as well to those who are following us on streaming from other locations. First of all, congratulations. You made it. You're smiling. So I would say that you no more students, although when do we stop studying? But you are graduates from the College of Europe, so congratulations for that. You have my admiration, and I have to admit, a little bit of my envy. It truly gives me great pleasure to address you at this closing ceremony here in Bruges, a city that can rightfully claim to the title of the heart of Europe. Owing to the history and the prestige of this center of excellence in higher education, I consider this an opportunity and, of course, an enormous honor. Lying at the intersection of Europe's major trade routes, Bruges is a natural port and hub for transatlantic trade. It was home to the first stock exchange in Europe and saw the birth of very eminent and venerable guilds. Some of the most accomplished Flemish artists painted it. And I cannot fail to mention this, coming from Spain. Bruges became the adopted city of a very celebrated Spanish philosopher and humanist from Valencia, Juan Luis Vives. Indeed, it was likely here that he spent his happiest years, back in the 16th century. One can really feel so strongly the spirit of Europe in the streets, the squares, the canals of this city. So it is no surprise that the first Europeanists, when selecting the best location to place a center for advanced studies of Europe, chose this beautiful Flemish city in Belgium, following a generous offer from the authorities. Hence, this ambitious educational project took root and naturally flourished here to such an extent that one cannot fully understand European institutions and centres of thought without the College of Europe. It is so gratifying to see the Bruges campus being joined by others in Natolin, Poland, and Tirana, more recently in Albania, a very significant sign of a united Europe's spirit and vitality. I have come here to speak to you, bear with me, about Jacques Delors and the European project, something you know nothing about, do you? Probably you know much more than I do. In fact, the two subjects are almost one and the same. We all know that history is not written solely by one person, but in the case of your patron de promotion, separating the man from his work seems quite difficult, or even impossible, especially as we zoom into the decades of 1985 to 1995, when he was President of the Commission for 3 terms in a row, but also later in his career. It is quite true, obvious for most, that I am here speaking about Delors and Europe at a time of great geopolitical upheaval, a time in which multilateralism, Atlanticism, and the international rules-based order are suffering a great erosion, a time of threats to alliances that seemed unshakable, bonds that seemed unbreakable, and stability that seemed unending. A time that recalled the words of Beethoven in the finals of his Ninth Symphony, which seemed to warn of the dangerous dissonance of history. I quote, "O friends, not these sounds. Let us strike up more pleasing and joyful ones." At times like these, when uncertainty takes over both present and future, it is helpful to look to the past and to the etymology of words, because the true meaning of names is often hidden in their roots. So, what is Europe, etymologically speaking? A word comprising of the adjective euris, wide, and the noun ops, gaze. So Europe is a place that sees clearly. Put another way, Europe is the place that sees far. The architects of the integration project were all Europeans with outstanding political vision. I am referring to Monnet, Schuman, De Gasperi, Spaak, and Adenauer. I am referring to my compatriot Salvador de Madariaga, who was so deeply involved in bringing this College of Europe into being, and who 75 years ago became president of its administrative council. All these public figures and many more, who for the sake of brevity I have not mentioned, were able to see union in Europe before it even existed. They understood before others that a future of peace, harmony, stability, and prosperity called for progressive sharing of sovereignty in certain areas, and for the establishment of a de facto interdependence that in turn would cultivate a feeling of community in the minds of all Europeans. This approach, widely known as the community approach, balances idealism with pragmatism. And what is politics if not a constant effort to strike a balance between the two? In this respect, we could safely state that the European journey has never followed a roadmap, but has always had a clear course, one that would meet the real pressing needs that over time widely arose for the people of Europe in times of turmoil. Some examples: the bipolarization of the world, the arms race, the decolonization process, the oil crisis, Soviet collapse, the rise of multipolar world, the economic and financial crisis, the global pandemic, and the emergence of digital networks and AI, to name just a few. Dear students of the College of Europe, dear graduates, Jacques Delors your eminent patron de promotion was one of those far-sighted Europeans. In his childhood and youth, he experienced the devastation of world wars. A man of strong social conscience and a multifaceted political career that ranged from unionism to city council to the government of France and the parliament in Strasbourg. Delors joined the Commission at a time when the European project, it can be said, had come to a standstill in 1985. And by the way, that year, now 40 years ago, was when Spain and Portugal signed the accession to the European communities then, and Delors was present at the signing at the Royal Palace on the 12th of June of that year. By the end of his third term, 10 years later, the internal market was firmly in place, social policies were also a growing reality, the foundations of an expansion to the east were set, and the member states were taking important initial steps towards an economic and monetary union. In his final years, although he had retired from politics, Delors retained a remarkable intellect and drive to the point of discussing matters such as Eurobonds and the digital revolution. In Spain, we recognized his enormous contributions to the European project twice, first with the Prince of Asturias Award for International Cooperation in 1989, jointly with Mikhail Gorbachev, and the second with the Charles V European Award from the European Academy of Youth Foundation in 1995. And by the way, I appreciated those historic references that bring us together a long time ago through Charles V. So thank you for that family tie I mentioned. Now I would like to briefly mention his approach, Jacques Delors, because it says a great deal about him as a person. At a time of leaders with forceful personalities in various European countries, remember, well, you might not remember that well, but you've studied it, Kohl, Mitterrand, Thatcher, González, to name but a few. Delors was the epitome of leadership based on knowledge, effectiveness, and persuasion. He had an intuitive talent for identifying the end goal and determining the best way to reach it. Often in the European Councils, following the lengthy debate on any particular issue, heads of state and government would turn to the Commission and search for some orientation, asking, Jacques, how would you do this? How should we do this? And Delors would step up to the challenge and offer a detailed answer with several alternatives. Not out of vain impulsiveness, but from a serene and wise vision, following deep consideration, long hours thinking about Europe and for Europe. His closest colleagues, including his former Chief of Cabinet, Pascal Lamy, have said that Jacques Delors thought about Europe's present and its future. His strategic approach allowed him to keep the ship on course, profiting from fair winds and weathering adversity. As the Roman philosopher born in Cordoba, Seneca, said, "For a man who knows not to which port he is sailing, no wind is favorable." Likewise, in the construction of Europe, always characterized then and now by stages and chapters that are often understood only in hindsight, knowing what is needed at each point and what the long-term goal is, and successfully balancing the two is key to success. Indeed, needs change. I believe we all think this way, but it seems natural to ask ourselves what the objective or goal really is. What is currently the ultimate aim behind the complex process of European construction? Some may argue that rather than tangible or realistic outcomes, it remains an ideal, an aspiration, a spirit of utopia. 170 years ago, Victor Hugo referred to this as the shared homeland. in the mind of Europeans. It is never finished because there will always be room for improvement. However, we can safely say with hard proof and practical consequences that it already has a clear shape, a recognizable one we can define or describe easily in so many aspects of practical life, daily life, for all the citizens in the EU, one we have been building for 7 decades. That shared homeland of the people of Europe is a space with removed barriers and strengthened freedoms, where our children and grandchildren can grow and learn in an increasingly sophisticated environment of protected rights and accessible welfare. It is a framework of economic growth, social and territorial cohesion, which, if and when unpolluted by radicalism, perfects the concept of citizenship. It is also a growing area of our continent in which the common good reaches all Europeans and where all people, without exception, may feel part of a shared political space. A Europe of this nature cannot be inward-looking. We must necessarily look outward to the rest of the world. As a former High Representative for the Union for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, your Rector, here Federica Mogherini, knows well that a united Europe can never be cowardly, withdrawn, or self-obsessed. The Europe we want, the Europe we strive for, is one of solidarity and free thought, a Europe that never shies away from challenge, precisely because it knows from experience what doing so can lead to. We have tasted the bitterness and paid the price of inaction and indecision. Europe should always define itself by its commitment and by the high values and principles that lay within the legacy of these 70 years. Some may argue, we unfortunately often hear this even inside the EU, that our devotion to those principles and values is also our greatest weakness in this terra incognita of today's world, the eternal question between idealism versus realpolitik. As if on the global stage the most powerful enjoy the greatest margin or leeway for inconsistency, for not honoring high values, and for using those beliefs as simple bargaining chips. In my view, the truth is quite the opposite of that cynical and acquiescent perception. In the end of the day, as Europeans, our values give us strength. Because in today's world, strength cannot be found in slogans, placards, or diatribes. Nor can we truly find it in the confusion between leadership and radicalism, in our blind faith in a technological future, or in the belief that complex problems have simple solutions. Strength, true strength, long-lasting and good-willing strength, comes from reason, from deep ethical thought, and the will to act accordingly. And Europe, the idea of Europe, is one of the greatest and wisest products of reason. Dear students of the Jacques Delors Promotion, the next step of the European project, the one we continue to build, and this is not a contradiction, is defense and security. It is a field closely tied, though not always visibly, to the idea of Europe and its survival. This is inevitable for a project that was born from peace after 2 horrific world wars, but with a clear intention and aspiration of preventing war from ever taking hold on European soil again. This, of course, also ought to impregnate all our policies as much as possible. Why now? Why, we may ask ourselves, why is a project that began with the sharing of energy and raw materials, became a common market, adopted a currency and laid the framework for a political union, is now looking to security and defense? I believe the answer is clear, because the erosion of the world order, the one we worked and hoped for and felt so close towards the turn of the century, of the millennium, has set off the alarm bells ringing. Furthermore, the world we have been living in, the world of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the UN Charter, multilateralism, and the peaceful settlements of disputes, neither perfect nor free of conflicts and suffering, as we know, is being increasingly undermined and called into question by some of its greatest proponents and early defendants. In this climate of uncertainty and complexity, many conflicts, both old and recent, are not receiving the attention they deserve, including lawless fighting in many nations of sub-Saharan Africa. Other conflicts fill the headlines every day with news of bloodshed, carnage, and destruction. And here I am thinking of the Middle East, where a brutal war is devastating Palestine in the wake of no less brutal attacks against Israel, disregarding the fundamental rules of humanitarian law, or the latest worrying escalation of hostilities between Israel and Iran. But I'm also thinking of our own region, on our very border or doorstep, where Ukraine suffers a war of aggression and invasion, raging now for 3 years, that has brought a huge tragedy, mainly upon the Ukrainian people, probably not seen since the Continental Wars. Ukrainian people must not be abandoned. We must never abandon them. As we can clearly see, war has beset a cloud of doubt and sense of insecurity upon everything we knew or thought we knew about international law. Such basic principles that the respect for sovereign independence and territorial integrity of states are widely being debased. These are not mere legal concepts with no connection to our lives. They are the bedrock of our world and our way of life. They are the foundations on which we built the rule of law and which allow us to educate our children, to trade, to travel, pursue our life goals, or even cooperate to solve problems and global issues or needs. All those huge problems we all have in the back of our minds. The rules of the game are under threat. The benefits of diplomacy and honest cooperation are at risk. And what is at stake is our very way of life. Therefore, strengthening security and defense capabilities has shifted from a relevant but limited area of cooperation to a real and pressing need, with a large margin of improvement and huge potential. We must not forget that Europe justifies its existence by responding effectively to the needs that emerge in each stage. We, the people of Europe, must work together to meet those needs, to take this step forward without undermining other essential policies. On so many occasions in the past, the European project overcame crises that I would go so far as to call existential. I trust we can do so again, responding with more Europe, and that we will demonstrate this as many times as required. Let no one underestimate our ability as Europeans to confront the challenges ahead. However, dear students of the Collège d'Europe here in Bruges, the path ahead will not be easy, because if we are to make progress, the community approach I mentioned earlier is not enough on its own. Jacques Delors himself, he who had such a good understanding of the core elements of the European project, concluded that to forge a political union based on the intergovernmental pillars, inertias and dirigism do not work in the same way as they do when building an internal market. We need more than that, a deeper feeling of ownership, a stronger commitment from the people of Europe under a shared sense of identity. The true key challenge of building a stronger, long-lasting security and defense capacity or capabilities is that we must found it on European citizenship. The time for European citizens is now. Time to comprehend that the Union is not a community solely of rights and freedoms, but also of commitments and duties. We must ask ourselves not what Europe can do for us, this might ring some people in their minds, but what we Europeans of the 21st century can do for Europe. You may all recall Kennedy's words. Because our commitment to Europe, to the concept of Europe, is a commitment to our freedom, equality, and future, it will require much effort, even sacrifice, as is inescapable when so much is at stake. In our modern world, so deeply interconnected, no country or organization can aspire to be truly autonomous, nor would it be clearly beneficial. Europe is no exception. What we can aspire to and should aim at is to increase our sway and speak with a more effective and recognizable voice. We can only achieve this if we as Europeans continue to make our valuable contributions to collective security and to equip ourselves with the means to uphold and defend the principles we believe should continue to govern the international order and peace among nations. The combined resources and armed forces of the member states have enormous potential. Their prestige is indisputable. However, much progress needs to be made in aligning resources, planning capacity, command structures, and defense industries. We cannot begin to strengthen our defensive muscle. It would be senseless to do so without considering our alliances, and particularly our North Atlantic Alliance, NATO, on which security in Europe so largely depends. Because the transatlantic bond, our flagship strategic framework, is not just a political choice determined by chance. It is a way of understanding our place in the world, a values-based community forged in the tumultuous years of the 20th century, which is more vital than ever now at this point in the 21st century. We must not forget that ours is an alliance of democratic states. That is why we all participate in the transatlantic dialogue. Institutions, businesses, universities, artists, creators, and civil society at large. Therefore, I urge you, over the course of your careers, to continue nurturing that dialogue. I urge you to continue believing in it. In short, dear friends, never before in history has a united, strong, and cohesive Europe been so vital for the world and for ourselves. Just a few days from now, when you all leave back home or wherever your lives take you, when you leave the College of Europe, when you depart your friends, your experiences, with your diploma under your arm, as distinguished alumni of Bruges, of the Collège d'Europe, the beautiful task of continuing to build Europe will be yours. It will be your time to shape Europe. Use it well. Do not let skepticism defeat or dampen your eagerness to improve, to advance, to perfect the European project. Each stone, each brick you add to this construction will honor the memory of all the Europeans whose vision allowed them to see far. Europeans such as Jacques Delors, your illustrious patron, whose assertion that Europe is its people rings more true today than ever before. European Union project is undoubtedly imperfect, like all things human, but it is a beautiful idea because its most fundamental aim represents a quest for harmony, a quiet harmony which often goes unnoticed below the deafening roar of the world we live in. I am sure that Beethoven, another European who dreamt of and believed in a united Europe without even having lived it himself, in the face of this European project of our time, would cry out, "Yes, friends, these sounds, these are the right sounds." Thank you all very much. Again, congratulations. Have a great Friday. And lots of luck in your lives. I am sure you will be successful and you will make this time here in the Collège Europe highly valuable for your careers. Good luck. All the best. Take care.
Que tienen las flores, llorona, las flores del Campo Santo. No sé qué tienen las flores, llorona, las flores del Campo Santo, que cuando las huele el viento, llorona, no saben que están llorando, que cuando las mueve el viento, llorona, parece que están llorando. Ay, de mi llorona, 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 tú eres mi tunga. Ay, de mi llorona, 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 tú eres mi tunga. Me quitarán de quererte, llorona, pero de olvidarte nunca. Me quitarán de quererte, llorona, pero de olvidarte nunca. Todos me dicen el negro, llorona, negro, pero cariñoso. Todos me dicen el negro, llorona, negro, pero cariñoso. Yo soy como el chile verde, llorona, picante, pero sabroso. Yo soy como el chile verde, llorona, picante, pero sabroso. Ay, de mi llorona, 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 llévame al río. Ay, de mi llorona, 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 llévame al río.
Wonderful. May I take this opportunity to ask another round of applause for all our students that are also wonderful artists and that are exhibiting tonight. Having absolutely no music skills, I'm always super impressed by how you manage to be excellent in studies and in art in this wonderful manner. And thank you for sharing this art with us. Thank you. I would like to thank you, Your Majesty, again. We have all thanked you for your presence here in the first part of this ceremony, but I think that I can speak on behalf of the entire college community now in thanking you for your message and your words that resonate completely with the spirit of the college community and the work that the college and the students and all our community are carrying forward. So thank you very much for your message and your speech today. And I think that having one of our student reps underlines the fact that you did a traineeship at the college, the commission has played some chords in our student body that were quite remarkable. Now we approach to the end of our closing ceremony or graduation ceremony, but we couldn't do that without a couple of other things. One that I know you're waiting with anxiety and joy, but before I move there and give the floor to our Director of Studies for the awards, those that were not given this morning, I would like to spend another word of thanks to the student reps. They have shared with us wonderful thoughts, but also, and most of all, let me personally thank them for all the work they have done for the college community, on top of all the work they have done as students. I truly appreciate everything that you have done across the 3 campuses for improving the college life, for contributing to shaping the college present and future. I'm really grateful for everything you have done, and I would like to ask a big round of applause to them. I think we're very proud of you. And you represent wonderfully well all the other college students, so wonderful job. And with that, we come to the moment of the awards. I would like to give the floor to the Director of Studies of our departments for announcing the awards, starting with Professor Dumont for the Eco departments.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's both a pleasure and a privilege to stand before you today as we bring this academy chapter to a stop. And as a follow-up to what has been said by Maria about the bibliography of the king, I have to say that I did the Blue Book the same year as the king. And to be honest with you, I mean, you had a lot of excitation among girls. It's girly, but everyone was looking for the prince. I mean, I attended all possible parties till 6 a.m., and I have to say, Your Majesty, we never met. So today it's a day where we can meet at least. So before announcing the Eco Prize, I just would like to stress that this ceremony is a moment of celebration, but also one of reflection. Economics, as you have come to appreciate, at least I hope so, is not simply a study of market or numbers. It's also a study of human behavior in a world of scarcity and trade-off. And nowadays, it's also a study of beautiful big deals, I have to say. So economics is about choice made by individuals, firms, and government, and you should always pay attention to the ripple effect that economic policy creates across societies, because it can have a detrimental effect on people. So in a world increasingly defined by uncertainty, rising debt, climate risk, and innovation, your role as a twin economist has never been more relevant or more necessary. And as you move forward, whether into policy making, finance, research, entrepreneurship, or any other path, remember that economics is a toolkit, but it's also a mindset. And as you step out into the world, you carry with you not just a degree in economics, but also the responsibility of applying what you have learned in the service of progress, equity, and truth. That being said, be always aware of the limit of your economic analysis, because for every economist, there exists an equal and opposite economist, and it's the only field where you can get a Nobel Prize, in which two people, it's the only field in which two people can share a Nobel Prize for saying opposite things, and that was the case, for instance, for Hayek and Mirta. I would like to take the opportunity, which is given to me, to thank the two student representatives, so Sylvia and Matthew. I mean, they always had very constructive feedback, and it was greatly appreciated. I also would like to address my warm thanks to the ECO team, so Dimtro, Uyanga, Sonawa, and Com, and also have our secretary, because, I mean, they're really the backbone of the department, and without them, nothing can happen. So, thanks a lot. So turning now to what everyone is expected, the ECO Prize. I'm very happy to give the first prize, which is on the best master thesis, to one of our musicians today. It's also one of the two ECO student representatives. She's looking at me in a skeptical way. So thanks a lot. So the prize goes to Sylvia Marquez-Thibault, who is here for master thesis on the impact of the CBAM on the alternative market in Germany. So congratulations to you. Now I'm turning to the best ECO student this year. I have to say that it's a student who is passionate about modeling. It's a rare species, to be honest, among economists. And for the anecdotes, the student came to see me at the beginning of the academic year to discuss this model. And it's the first time such things happen to me, to have to say. I mean, today we have the student concerned is going to recognize himself. He's wearing a kilt. So we have two students wearing a kilt. To be honest with you, he's wearing his kilt in a quite unconventional way because he has a Spanish fan as well. So I don't know if it's a new fashion or European integration, but that's what we have. So, well, all my congratulations to Matthew. I'm sorry. to Liam, my classling. Bye.
Your Majesties, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. It is an immense honor and privilege to announce the winner of the Best Student and Best Thesis Prize for the first ever generation of the European Transformation and Integration Department at the campus in Tirana. But before doing so, let me just start by congratulating each and every one of our students for not only great academic achievements, but primarily the achievements we cannot really grade or assess or teach you in the classroom. Really the qualities you have developed through your own personal relations and demonstrated throughout the year, and these are the ones that I really hope you will cherish. The resilience you showed even when things didn't really go well with the study trip or the simulation game or other activities during the year. The kindness also to us when things didn't go as expected. But also the care and support for each other we have seen throughout the year. And especially, I would say, the spirit of solidarity we have witnessed throughout the year among all of you. Across the nights and days you have worked together, even organizing your tutorials for other colleagues. This is really impressive, and I really hope these qualities will accompany you through your journeys. Hopefully they will be your quiet strength ahead. Do not take them for granted, cherish them. So, to proceed with the award, it is an immense pleasure to announce that both the Best Student Award and the Best Thesis Award for the first generation of the ETI department goes to Peter Odrich. Congratulations, Peter.
Good afternoon as well. Your Majesties, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. As we just heard this afternoon, the world needs more diplomats. So I'm happy to present the Best Student and the Best Master's Thesis of the EU International Relations and Diplomacy Studies Department. Now, for all of you, a very intense year comes to an end. Many classes, many assignments, many events, etc. And some of you might have thought that this would never end. But then again, today it feels like it went way too fast, doesn't it? So, well, here we are, or I should rather say, here you are, standing on the edge of a new chapter in your life. And let me tell you, you are ready to fly those kites that the Rector mentioned at the very beginning. I would also like to seize the opportunity to thank the student representatives and the academic assistants, the faculty and all staff. I think this is a day of celebration for the whole college community. So now let me go to the core business. First, the laureate, the best student of the program of the Jacques Delors Promotion is Jonas Althoff. Turning to the best master thesis in IRD, let me tell you the topic is in the field of the common foreign and security policy. It's a comparative study, and it addresses the crucial issue of organizational learning. Florian Chapuis. I just wanted to read out the topic of his master thesis. It's Learning to Fail Better, Lesson Learning in EU-UN Bridging Operations, the cases of EUFOR Chad Central African Republic 2008-9 and EUFOR Central African Republic 2014 and 15. Congratulations to both of you.
Monsieur le Président, Madame la Rectrice, distinguished guests, families and friends watching us online also, and of course, very importantly, dear students. Still students now, but by this evening, alumni, anciens. So let me just once again say the magic word, students. And then when we meet again, that will all be done. You've made it. You are a very special promotion. Ça a déjà été dit. Vous êtes la promotion Jacques Delors, plein de symbolique et d'importance. You are also the 75th Jubileum promotion of the College of Europe. How can it get any more special than that, truly? You are a very special promotion, but unfortunately, as we have heard also in the keynote, living very difficult times. And I was hesitating between the words difficult and dangerous. They both start with a D. Difficile, dangereux, n'importe quelle langue qu'on utilise, c'est 2D. But I think it captures both. And it is up to you to turn the dangerous into something manageable. Together with your professors, and several of them are here today, I am very pleased to be able to tell you that we are very proud of you and that we have full confidence in you and in your generation. The challenges are enormous. Our democracies are under threat. The rule of law is under threat. I would no longer even use the word backsliding. We're way beyond that. And human rights are under threat to a point where people are being denied even the label of humans that deserve protection. So how much worse can it get? So we are living dangerous times, not only outside the borders of the European Union, but also within the European Union. Nous ne sommes pas à l'abri. So we have to be vigilant. The good point is, because I feel sort of saddening here, the good point is that we do strongly believe that when leaving the college, and perhaps already when entering the college, but we can only talk now, when you leave the college, you will get your diplomas of your specific disciplines, testifying that you have done well, very well, or excellent in your disciplines. Mais avant tout, nous sommes convaincus que ce n'est pas seulement un diplôme que vous allez recevoir, mais que vous êtes capable de raisonner de façon rigoureuse, que vous êtes capable de porter un argument qui soutient et veut faire avancer les valeurs qui nous sont chères, à nous tous, à l'Union européenne. And I have also witnessed, and I'm very glad to have done so, that each and every one of you, and especially when you get together and do it collectively, you dare to stand up, and you dare to speak up, and you dare to try and make your point right until the end. So I'm very confident in your generation indeed. Now, today I'm here not to give you a long speech, we've already had that, but to give you the prizes and to bring the spotlight to some of the people. In particular, I'm here to do that for the Law Department. So a special thanks in particular to the college-wide supporting staff, and in particular to the law staff who is a resident here in Bruges. That is Professor Sasha Garben, our permanent professor, the law and the Lea assistants. I spotted them somewhere up in the middle of the balcony there. That is Ericetti, Benedetta, Emma, Eva, Justine, Margarita, Jesus, and Mitru. And also the law secretary Saskia Willems and Antje, whom you you all know, has sort of stepped in at a very difficult time, under very difficult circumstances, but who has done a great job to try and help us keep the law department afloat. And thank you all also for your patience and help in trying to do that. A special word of thanks, but a very warm-felt, heartfelt special word of thanks goes to our law representatives, and they sit here up front, but I can't see you. Right, yes. That is Marta Vázquez Lerena, if you want to stand up, and Francesco Mauri, who's sitting up here. And I can assure you that they have driven a hard bargain with me right up until the end. They have done a wonderful job in defending your interests, but then, of course, that was also my interest. So we did align there. A call also, and a special praise and applause for some of the student achievements, which are specific to the law department this year, starting with the law moot court, which we organized in-house. And there we had the winning team of, and I ask you to stand up, turn around, and wave also up in the. So Marta again, Marta Vázquez Lerena. Abel Vidil. Louise Verhagen. Emilia van Wijnmeers. And you can see the picture with the cup at the entrance of the law building B. It's B, isn't it? Our building, yes. Then le concours Cassin, où nos étudiants sont allés en finale à Strasbourg, devant la Cour des droits de l'homme. Ils ont été 4e parmi les 38 équipes qualifiées pour la phase orale. Alors, c'est vraiment excellent. Meijer van der Steeg. Noor Diegene Katas. En Ridwan Alouche. Et notre équipe de LMC Moot est arrivée en semi-finale à la session régionale à Helsinki, une occasion parfaite pour aller en Finlande, bien sûr, et était composée de Flore Borrell, Nana Christensen, Alexander Sheehan, en Tjirt Samo Grosselny. Et avant que j'annonce les prix, je vais durer un peu la suspense, I would also like to thank in particular and to congratulate all of you and the student associations that have contributed towards the participation, the active participation of our law students to our conferences, where you have made a big impression on the speakers, the distinguished speakers that we have. And I mentioned not each name of the speakers, but the conferences. That was the Jacques Delors conference, where the law contribution made a big splash and was really very much noticed. That was the same for the Jubileum Annual Law Conference that we organized together with the European Law Review, and where you probably met many of the authors that you have long sort of read and now finally got to meet also in person. I think we've never seen such an assembly of all those writers together before here at the college, but that's why it was our Jubileum Annual Conference, of course. Also at the Global Competition Annual Conference, we had our competition associations and students speaking in panels at the conference where also Executive Vice President Teresa Ribera was present, and also she was impressed with your contributions. So you were all very true ambassadors during your time as students, and I very much hope you will all, each and everyone, continue to be the ambassadors of the Law Department and the College of Europe more widely once you leave. So a big thanks to all of you. Ok, ça va, je peux commencer avec les prix ou vous voulez encore un peu de... Okay, let's go to the prizes. The laureate of the promotion, and how do we determine who is the laureate? I know my law students will ask, what is the methodology you use to determine that? So let me tell you in advance, it is the overall average mathematically established. And that is for a student. I know we have GDPR rules that we abide by, but I think in this particular case, I make a small sort of saying that the best grade is an overall average of 16.6, which is truly excellent. And that student is Vincent Wurster. La meilleure thèse en droit is also the Rafael San Rodriguez Memorial Prize, and the family and friends are here present to give the prize also. And again, it's the mathematical choice, so no arbitrary selection made. And it goes to a thesis en français, écrit avec le professeur de Stril, sur un thème que je pense notre keynote speaker aujourd'hui va beaucoup aimer, puisque le thème est, mais je dois mettre mes lunettes maintenant, les ambitions sécuritaires de l'Europe qui protègent, résilience des entités critiques et souveraineté économique européenne. Je ne sais pas lire mon propre écriture, but then all of my law students know that. And that is, of course, Abel Vidil. And then the last prize I announce here is the prize for the best law ELEA student. This is the 20th anniversary of ELEA, and unfortunately also the last time that we have organized ELEA as an interface program between law and economics. And the best law ELEA student is Francesco De Fazio. There is one more prize from the Law Department, which is the Global Competition Law Center Prize, which is the research center attached to the Law Department. But traditionally, that prize is granted during the annual GCLC conference the year after, and then the prize is given by the commissioner in charge of competition policy and law. So I hope that you'll be patient a little bit more awaiting that big event. So that is it for the prizes. Good luck to you all in your future careers and friendships. J'ai aucun doute que vous allez faire bien, que vous allez avoir des carrières, mais aussi des vies formidables. Do drop us a line. Come in for coffee. An open invitation this time. And fare you well.
It's my pleasure and honor to be here on behalf of the Transatlantic Affairs Program. And I would like to start by thanking my amazing team. And I think a couple of them are here. Coralie and Marie, thank you so much for all you've done this year. You have been wonderful. I would also like to thank the support of our Secretary, Belinda, and our student representative, Allison. You have been extremely helpful throughout this academic year. Before I get to the prizes, I just want to send a couple of messages. I know that MATA is a bit of a complicated program, so I first just have a quick message for our first-year MATA students. We know that it's not over. You have another year to go. I want to tell you it has been a real pleasure to see you distinguish yourself academically here at the college and thrive outside of the classroom, whether it's in student government, recording a podcast, or playing the guitar in front of the entire closing ceremony audience. So congratulations. And as you embark on the second year of your MATA program, please know that you have the full support of both the college and the Fletcher School. Now for our graduating MATA students who are in their second year, some of whom are in the U.S., I just want to briefly say that it is a very challenging time for transatlantic affairs on the one hand, but on the other hand, over the last 2 years, I have seen the character of the MATA students, and I have seen your capabilities, and that leaves me very hopeful about the future of transatlantic affairs. So I would like to go and, yes. So I will start with the laureate of the MATA program, who is a second-year student currently doing her internship in Washington, D.C., and that would be Antonia Vonerlich. Congratulations, Antonia. And for the MATA Best Thesis Award, the Jan Olaf Haushouder Memorial Prize, it will be shared between two second-year MATA students, the first Aidan Kelly and second Juliette Perrier. Congratulations.
Your Majesty, Governor, Mayor, President, dear Rector, dear student representatives, dear Paul team, dear DeLoreans. You know, this is a very special moment for me today because you are my first year, the Paul students, my first year of Director of Studies for the Paul department, and it has been a real honor and pleasure at the same time to serve you. And those who know me know very well that there would be so much I could now share with you, but I basically have done this in the yearbook. And I did this attentively with time, and everything I wrote and shared with you, I meant from the very bottom of my heart. It has been an honor and a pleasure not only serving you, but accompanying you of what you have become. And this is something very individualistic, something you will define further after leaving the college here today. I wish you all the best, and if there is one thing that you allow me to give you on this continued journey of you, yourself, live your life and not the life of others. I herewith proudly pronounce the best student of the Delors Promotion at the Pole Department, the Pole Laureate with the best overall average, and this was this year a very tight race. Frances Torres y Magna. And I proudly present the Pole Best Master Thesis under the supervision of Professor Seda Gürkan, Navigating Between Words and Wars, the Misalignment of Candidate Countries with the EU's Restrictive Measures on Russia since 2022, Sinan Beck.
Congratulations to all. I don't have prizes to announce. The awards are complete now. Congratulations to all those who received the recognitions and all the others. I have a few thoughts to share still, but as the party is only just beginning because it's Friday, I will probably share those outside, as we will have another moment where we will share our celebrations and really conclude our closing day with your parents, family, loved ones in Werversdijk. So I will share a last couple of thoughts for that moment. I would only now like to do two things before I invite the choir on stage. First, I would like to thank one person that has not been thanked so far in this closing ceremony. Normally, it's someone we do not recognize in closing ceremonies, but it's someone that has a very special personal history with the College of Europe, someone that has served and lived the college for more than 60 years, and that is our treasurer that sits here in the back, Professor Van Over, that is, after many decades, having a well-deserved pension. Thank you. You make the college proud. I would also now like to move to another very important final moment of our ceremony, and that is not the formal announcement of our next Patron de Promotion, because you already know who that is, and you even pre-announced that. Thank you for doing this. But it was no secret. It was already published. But it is the moment when we unveil the face that we have chosen, the photo, the image that will accompany the College Promotion 25-26. That is Victoria Melina. She will be guiding our college community next academic year. And I would like to thank all of those of you that have signaled the willingness to have such an important step for the college, to have the next patron, a proud and brave and human, very human Ukrainian woman that has a lot of meaning, I think, for us and for Europe in this moment. With that, I do not declare concluded the academic year, because we still have a little bit of still celebration to do this evening, so I will do this in a moment in Werversdijk. I will now invite the choir on stage, I will invite also the Rector of Studies to join the audience. And I would also have a little technical announcement, and that is at the very end of the choir performance, I would like to invite all of you to stay seated, allowing our guests to exit the theater first. And then, of course, we will meet each other for the third part of our closing ceremony in Wednesday. Again, once again, let me thank from the bottom of my heart all of you, but most of all, Your Majesty, to thank you and Your Majesty, Queen Letizia, for being with us today and for having shared this moment of joy with us. Thank you.